Hey guys, what's up? My name's Kayla from PlanningWithKay, and welcome to another video. Happy April. I hope you're having a lovely start to the new month and enjoying the start of spring. And today I'm going to be setting up my April spreads with you all, so get cozy, grab your journaling supplies if you want to plan alongside me, and let's jump right into it. As you saw in the intro, spring has arrived here in Portland, Oregon, which means that the entire city is covered in gorgeous cherry blossom blooms. And I couldn't help but get inspired to do a cherry blossom theme for this month's bullet journal spreads. To start off my setup, I'm going to have some fun creating a decorative cover spread using my watercolors. Y'all know that my bullet journal is as much a creative outlet for me as it is a functional planning tool, and I love playing around with watercolor in my bullet journal. So going into this cherry blossom theme, I knew that I wanted to try my hand at some cherry blossom watercolor branches. I'm doing a blue, purple, and pink cherry blossom color scheme for this setup, so I'm using a few different watercolors from my Kuretake Gansai Tombow set for these flowers, specifically the color number 14, which is literally called cherry blossom pink, number 13, which is lilac, and finally number 69, which is horizon blue. And I'm also using a little bit of white here and there. Now for my favorite part, I'm going to paint in some super dark, bold branches. I feel like this is what really makes cherry blossom trees so striking. It's that contrast of the light pastel flowers and the really dark brown, almost black branches. So I'm going to use the color Raw Umber Deep number 47 to paint those branches in and connect all of my flowers together. I'm also going to create some floating petals scattered across the page because if you've ever seen cherry blossom trees, you know that one of the coolest things is when the petals start falling. It almost looks like snow. It's so intense, so cool. So I knew I wanted to include some petals floating in the wind. With the majority of the cherry blossoms painted in, I'm now going to go ahead and create my April header using those same watercolors, making sure to use a pretty small paintbrush here to make this lettering as easy and controlled as possible. And I really love how this turned out with the pink, purple, and blue blending into each other. Now in the empty space to the right, I'm going to letter in a little quote using the blue-gray deep watercolor number 68, which is almost black, but just with a slight bluish tint. It's a super beautiful color. My quote here is of course going to match the theme, so it says, "The first blooms of spring make my heart sing," which couldn't be more true, especially coming out of the dark, depressing winter. The sight of the flowers blooming at the coming of spring really does something special to me. It definitely makes my heart sing, it elevates my mood, positively affects my mental health, and if any of you have experience with seasonal depression during the winter months, I'm sure you know exactly what I mean. So now I'm just going to finish this spread up with some final details using my Tombow Fudenosuke hardtip brush pen. I accidentally forgot to record the drop shadow that I added to my April header, but I laid that in to make the header really pop off the page. And I'm then going to outline some of the cherry blossom flowers and petals. I really love this look of only outlining some of the flowers and leaving others lineless. It makes those flowers really stand out and appear almost like they're closer to you so you can see the details. And then the lineless flowers look like they're pushed back a little bit more, and I think it really ties everything together. For the final touch, I'm using that same blue-gray to put in the year 2022, and with that, I'm done with my fun decorative cover spread and ready to move on to the functional parts of my April bullet journal setup. Now, as much as I love painting and drawing, I want to make the functional part of this setup as quick and easy as possible, so I'm going to be using some stickers from my sticker shop for the rest of these spreads, specifically my cherry blossom collection in both the original pink and purple color scheme, along with the newer blue color scheme. All of these stickers are available in my shop in both physical and instant digital printable form if you want to try them yourselves, and I've also listed a cherry blossom bundle specifically for this video that includes all of the sticker sheets at a discounted price. If you want to check any of that out, I'll have everything linked in the description below. As usual, my first functional spread is going to be my April calendar spread, which is going to be the home for all of my monthly events, bills, and notes. I'm starting off by drawing in my calendar right in the center of this spread, and each day here gets a space that's 4 boxes wide by 6 boxes tall. Now for the header at the top of the page, I was really excited to use both of the cherry blossom sticker collections together for the very first time. So here I'm taking one header sticker from each monthly kit and I'm combining them into one really long header. And I just love how this ended up turning out. With the header completed, I'm going to continue to finish up my calendar, first by lettering in the days of the week at the top. And I'm also going to use my watercolors again to create a little spot at the top of each box for my dates. Since my calendar is centered here, it means that Thursday column is split in half by the center seam of my journal. And whenever I do a layout like this, I always get questions asking how difficult is it to write in those spaces that have that seam cutting through, or just generally people saying that they avoid these types of layouts because they don't think that it'd work to write in the spaces like that. I definitely used to let that stop me from creating layouts like this, but I found that the seam really doesn't bother me. At least personally, I'm still able to write things in without a problem. Besides my calendar, I'm including a couple other components on this spread to finish things up and give me a really nice overview of the entire month. On the left, I'm going to have my monthly bill schedule, which is an absolute necessity for me each month. I just stuck in a number strip sticker for my Cherry Blossom functional add-on sheet so that way I can write down all of the bills that are due on each day of April. And on the right, I'm going to include a general notes section for things like monthly tasks, goals, and anything else that I need to jot down throughout the month. Below that notes section, I'm lettering in "Spring is here" with the watercolors again. And from there, I'm just going to wrap things up on this spread with a few finishing details, like some extra watercolor here and there, the dates on my calendar now that those watercolor spaces have dried, and some little cherry blossom flower and petal stickers here and there for a little extra flair. With my April calendar spread all done, it's time to move on to the next page in my setup, which is going to be my April habit tracker. I'm using the coming of spring as a transformative time to reassess my goals and wants for the rest of this year. And I really want to utilize habit trackers more intentionally and purposefully to achieve these goals and set me on the right track. So for this month, I'm going to do a small calendar format habit tracker where I have 6 individual habits that each have their own calendar. So that way I can mark off the days that I complete said habit. I'm using this amazing adjustable calendar stamp to do this, and I loved using this stamp. I was recently sent a bunch of connectable stamps from a company called Contact USA, including a bunch of alphabet stamps and this calendar here, and I've been using the heck out of them. This isn't sponsored or affiliated or anything like that. I'm just genuinely hyped about this product, and it works so well for this habit tracker, so I'll be sure to link that down below for you guys in case you want to try it out. At the time that I set up this page, I had an idea of 4 of the habits that I wanted to include, which is one for not drinking alcohol, one for keeping track of my work days, another for my skincare routine, and finally a water tracker to make sure I'm keeping hydrated. And I then left 2 of the habits blank so that I could have some more time to really think about what other habits I wanted to include to propel me towards my goals. Now on the right page, I'm going to create a space to write down the books, movies, shows, and music that I'm consuming throughout the month. In case any of you are wondering about my favorites recently, I'm currently on book 5 of the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, which I highly recommend if you're into dark fantasy or sci-fi fantasy. My favorite movie from this last month was the new Pixar Disney film called Turning Red. A new album I've been listening to on repeat is Metamorphosis by my favorite band Cloud Cult. And a show that I've been obsessed with is the new season of Tournament of Champions, which is a cooking competition show on Discovery Plus, hosted by the Food Network king himself, Guy Fieri. Moving right along, I'm going to set up a couple pages for keeping track of the good things that happen throughout the month, specifically happy memories and self-care items. Within the last year or so, and especially throughout this winter, I've been going through a really tough time, honestly, for a whole slew of reasons, which is a big reason why I've been struggling to post videos here regularly. Things like family struggles, financial emergencies, general mental health reasons. I'm sure a lot of you can relate on that. And one thing I'm really trying to bring into this new season of life is the just utmost appreciation, gratitude, and positivity just for the opportunity to be be alive in this world. And I'm really trying to keep that energy at the front of my mind every single day, hour, every minute, just in every moment moving forward. So this spread is definitely an acknowledgement of that goal, and it's a space for me to celebrate positivity, self-care, happiness, and joy, no matter how hard things get and no matter what challenges get thrown my way. So the left page here is a memory keeper, which I'm using in place of a 1 line a day or a daily review type page. I just created 10 empty spaces to record 10 happy memories throughout this month, especially things that I'm grateful for. And the right page is a self-care bingo sheet where I'm going to write in 24 individual self-care items to do throughout the month, and I'll color in each box once I've completed that self-care item. I really love the intention behind this spread, and I'm excited to carry this positive mindset into the rest of April, into the rest of this entire year, to be honest. And if you feel like you've been struggling recently, I encourage you to also try out something in your journal that is going to foster this sense of daily gratitude and self-care. Before I set up a weekly spread for the first week of April to finish off this video, I just have one more page to include in my monthly setup, which is going to be a live stream calendar schedule for the month. I live stream 7 times a month for my patrons over on patreon.com/planningwithkay, doing things like setting up bullet journal spreads and designing stickers. For example, I actually created this entire setup while live streaming on Patreon, so my patrons already got to watch and interact with me while I set up all of these spreads. And I always like to create a separate calendar for that schedule just to make sure I'm not forgetting about any streams. Obviously, this is a page that is very specific to me and my own needs, so I would just take this as another example of a monthly calendar, just like another option if my April calendar spread earlier didn't resonate with you. This calendar is just going to be a simple 1-page layout, and I'm using one of my large calendar stickers from my shop to make this setup really quick and easy. On the right, I'm just going to create a little decorative quote page. A dear patron of mine, Laura, surprised me not too long ago by sending me some scrapbooking paper that she wasn't planning on using, and this purple paper here was a perfect match for this theme. So I'm creating a border around this page using it, and I'm then sticking in this big full-page quote sticker that matches the cherry blossom theme and is another celebration of the start of spring. This quote page was actually originally a Patreon printable that I posted 3 years ago when I originally released the cherry blossom sticker collection in spring of 2019. But to celebrate this setup and my revisiting of this cherry blossom theme, I've decided to open up that Patreon post publicly so that it's free for all of you to access, download, and print out yourself. And you don't need a Patreon account or anything like that. I'll link that down below for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the free printable. Okay, finally, I'm on the last spread in this setup, which, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be a weekly spread for the first full week of April. I'm doing a very simple layout for this spread, and one that I've really been enjoying recently, which just involves splitting the spread into 8 equal-sized boxes. And each box here is 12 spaces wide by 18 spaces tall. One of these boxes is going to be a weekly header, and the other 7 are going to be for my daily events and tasks for the 7 days of this week. For the first header box, I'm going to use my stickers to essentially create a big custom sticker that's going to fill up the entire box. And I'm using a really cool technique that I learned from my patron Beck, aka Sassy Pigeon HQ on Instagram and on Etsy. The way that this works is that I'm using the backing of an empty sticker sheet, and I've drawn a box on that sheet that matches the size of the box on my spread. I'm then using my stickers to completely fill in that box guideline that I drew out, just making sure to fill in all of the space completely with stickers to essentially create one giant new sticker. And what's really nice about doing this on the sticker sheet backing is it then peels super easily off from the backing, and I can stick the entire new sticker I've pieced together into my box on my spread. If you have a big sticker stash that you're trying to use up, this is a great way to use a ton of stickers at once, and visually it always turns out super striking and beautiful. With that laid in, I just used a banner sticker from the functional add-on sticker sheet for the dates, along with an April sticker right on top from my sheet of mixed monthly header stickers. Finishing this spread up is now going to be super easy. For my weekly headers, I'm using these long cherry blossom weekly headers from the monthly kits, alternating the purple and blue headers at the top of my daily boxes. And I'm then going to use my watercolor and my brush pen to put in the dates in the lower right corners. And with that, my weekly spread is done, and so is this April Plan With Me video. I hope you all enjoyed watching me set up my April bullet journal spreads today with this spring-inspired cherry blossom theme. Whether you watch bullet journal videos as a way to relax and unwind, or if you're looking for inspiration for your own journaling or planning, I hope this video gave you exactly what you were looking for. I really love how this setup turned out, and the combination of my two cherry blossom sticker collections came together better than I ever could have imagined. I'll of course have all of the stickers and all of the supplies that I used linked down below, as well as the links to my shop, my Patreon, and that free printable. And I'd also like to give an extra special thank you to all of my patrons for supporting me this month. I hope you have a wonderful month of April and a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.